Hello friends, I made this for. My name is Lauren, and if this is your first time here, hi, hello, how are you? I am here in Philadelphia. I'm an artist, art ritual facilitator, tarot reader, Reiki practitioner, astrology lover, and witch in Philly. So if you have been here before, hi, hello, I missed you, bestie. Yeah, the full moon is happening on the 14th, and you are here to hear a little bit about what I have to say around the Lovers and Temperance, because the Lovers is represented as a representation of Gemini, and Temperance is a representation of Sagittarius. So if you are curious about why I make these connections, you can look at some of my other videos because I want to get us right in. But basically, the tarot can be connected to astrology, and I like using those things because they allow us to use something very physical about something that's very much spiritual, theoretical, in the stars, right? So how can we transmute some of that energy? Well, I'll tell you. If you have not checked out my video, my deep dive into Gemini with the Lovers, I'll link that at the end of this video. This is in my series of monthly breakdowns energy-wise. So what is the Lovers and Temperance? What can we take as lessons for ourselves in the season of Gemini as we begin to kind of move through it and close it out? And really work with this lunation, which is a fire moon, as the sun is in the air sign of Gemini. So these two signs are polar opposite to each other. They might have the same core values, but very different ways of getting to said core values. What I feel around this time, and it might have been very similar to last year's Lovers Sagittarius or Gemini Sagittarius moon, because just so you know, every time we're in Gemini season, our full moon will always be in Sagittarius. Everything works in that way. My takeaway with Gemini season and the Sagittarian moon is, how can we alchemize the potency of our relationships? And let's begin by looking at the cards. First cards I'm going to use, actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. So the decks I'm going to be using today are the Holly Simple Tarot. I'll be having a review on this tomorrow. You'll see me in the same outfit. The Holly Simple Tarot review will be out after you see this one. I'm also doing the Aquarium Tarot, the little pocket size. And last but not least, you already know, I love using the Smith-Waite deck because it gives us a really great foundation of what to build off of. And these two decks, you will see, are greatly influenced by the magic of this deck. So we'll start from oldest to youngest. But let's talk about it. So Temperance as Sagittarius. Temperance is alchemy, plain and simple. It is this teacher figure that I feel like is very deeply connected to Sagittarius. So for example, I have a Mars in Sagittarius, and I feel like that Mars means that I like to share knowledge, I like to consume knowledge, I like to be a teacher, to travel and to tell folks. Hence, I'm on YouTube explaining this, right? So Temperance and Sagittarius to me are kind of like the teachers, being able to distill the wisdom of the world to alchemize to something greater. And so one thing I want to point out is we see a road that leads to the sun coming up over the mountain. We see the toes being dipped on one end, but we also see something connected to land, kind of showing us that this is both spiritual and physical. And then, of course, we have the pouring of the two cups. like wonky shit. How is this happening? Magic, clearly. And then of course we see this symbol on their head is the symbol for the sun, that circle with the dot. I also have that symbol on my arm. This is the alchemic symbol for the sun. That is one of the reasons why I have it. It's also the alchemic symbol for gold. So those two things are connected, right? We have some flowers. It's lush, but we see an angel that's very focused on what they're doing. This is not a, hey, I'm just hanging out and pouring cups. It's fucking pouring cups right now. This is serious shit. I am embodying the pouring of cups. And then the lovers. I'm only going to do this very quickly because I've already done a deep dive for this season on the lovers. But we have Adam and Eve, as it might be seen, the snake on the tree of knowledge. We see a fall tree kind of like being cast out of Eden. But we see this connection, this mountain that's kind of similar to the mountains in this picture and the sun coming above it. Almost like a crown in the sky. And then we see the Archangel Michael, which what's really interesting to me is it almost seems like the same angel, or at least very similar. So there's a very deep connection between these two cards here, if we're being honest. So if this card represents Gemini, I'm going to say that this card really represents the mirror of our relationships. How do we observe others in relationship to how we view ourselves? And with the Sagittarian energy, the question would be, how do we distill this as a way of caring for others or mining for deeper knowledge? Yeah, that might be one way of looking at this lunation, is how can we observe how we relate to the world, how we see the world, how we see ourselves and others, and how that relates in a way that we are able to make sense of that information and distill it into something that we can share. The idea with Sagittarius is not only do we learn how to disseminate that information. Now, I already have a collective reading for this moon, so I definitely encourage you to check that out as well. But I also encourage you to take out your own tarot cards in your deck that are Gemini and Temperance. Take them out, draw them in your own style. Perhaps even meditate with both of these cards, or pick one that feels like a potent teacher to you. That could be really supportive in getting a little bit more nourishment just for yourself. You don't have to always follow what someone says. Use your intuition to find the magic. With that said, what does the Aquarium Tarot have to offer? Well, when we look at these two cards, the Aquarium Tarot is very interesting because, one, it's Art Nouveau, so it's gorgeous as fuck. But there's not a whole lot of information here to distill. So with Temperance in this deck, we see almost like feathers from birds of prey. So these might be the owls. It might be hawks, things like that. And that to me kind of signifies the, excuse my cat, that which can be seen from above, observing from a place that's not connected to the outcomes, but really focused on what is to be understood. So having that bird's eye view, right? With the lovers, this is a very stereotypical image of the lovers, very masc femme couple embracing. Now, if you've been here for a while, you know that that's not always like what I want to focus on. And in fact, I feel like if we get wrapped up with the lovers being lovers, we miss the big lessons, which is how do people reflect back to us certain things that we like or don't like, and how can we observe our relationships in a different way and observe them as our mirrors rather than projecting what we want onto them, right? Just bringing that awareness. So that kind of misses out in this deck, I think. It's a gorgeous deck. I just wish it was deeper. But we do see this really it's beautiful art, y'all. It's just beautiful art. Get the Aquarium deck if you just want some pretty art. It will not be easy for you to read if you're new, but it's pretty. And last but not least, let's talk about the Holly Simple Tarot, because this is where it gets interesting. I love these interpretations. Temperance, again, we get to see this connection between the cups, this distillation, this pouring back and forth. It's a mindful process. It's a focused process. It's a meditative process. And so the idea being we can be patient with the process as long as we are objectively observing, knowing that we won't figure everything out. Because it's fine. It's not a big deal. You don't need to figure everything out. We have to be open to the process, and we have to be open to how long the process takes so that we can really distill down the wisdom in order to share that wisdom. Because again, Sagittarius is the teacher. And now, not every Sagittarius needs to be a teacher, but Sagittarius can embody this beautiful teacher energy of nurturing, of understanding, of patience, knowing that sometimes we have to get messy, sometimes we have to do things a few times in order to really understand the process. And then, of course, we see the Lovers here. I love this connection of the Lovers because we see almost like two tongues intertwined to the point that they're one. And so I take this as like what we speak on others is how we speak about ourselves and can get us wrapped up. I also see the heart here. And I take that as how can we be more compassionate with folks in our reality? How can we distill the wisdom of our relationships and how we move through the world, who we move through the world with, in a way that really allows us to take up space in a different way, in a more positive way, in a way that moves with fluidity through the world, and in a way that we can support others just a little deeper. Again, I'm going to put these two up just so you can see this connection is strong, y'all. This connection is strong. This foundation of the Lovers in this card can be seen in our other two cards. Temperance. Definitely see the connection between these two temperances. This one not so much, but that's okay. Still beautiful, still powerful. I love that the wings are still very present. The wings take up so much of this card's interpretation. But with that said, this was really a quickie, just to kind of like go over and share some wisdom as far as what do these cards teach us? What do these cards help us illuminate with this season? Of course, we are reaching the end of Gemini season. Oh, excuse me. Right around the corner, we have Cancer season, and when we reach that, we will be talking more about the Chariot and just summer solstice in general. And of course, as always, check out the links down below if you would like to get notifications. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell. It's a great way to support the channel, to support me. But if you're interested in diving a little deeper, I do have a Patreon where you can support my podcast, The Subnormal Podcast, where I interview artists with spiritual practices, because what inspires us artistically is what fuels us spiritually, and sometimes the other way around. You can check me out on all of those platforms. I really look forward to connecting with you. I'm at Subnormal Child most places. But with that said, I hope you have a lovely rest of your day and season and just Ooh, so tired still. And have a good moon. Make sure to take care of yourselves, friends. Maybe do some candle magic around this moon. Write some intentions down. Journal all the journaling. And with that said, friends, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.